Hello everybody and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade, Walking Shadow. I'm the executive producer here at Final Show Films, John, and I turn it over to our storyteller for the evening, Jack!
Hey everybody, this is Jack. I am the storyteller for our Vampire the Masquerade Chronicle. And with us this evening we have Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm playing Naomi, the Malkavian.
And Raphael.
Hi, I'm Raphael. I'm playing Lysander, the Ravnos Rogue.
And joining us for the very first time, Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara. I'm playing Velma, the Nosferatu.
Absolutely. John.
I'm John, and I'm playing Gabriel, the Tremere Warlock. And thank you, Kat, for 1,000 bits.
Hey, we've got bits already. Cat
Bits from the Bits Queen.
Yes! And last but not least for this evening, William.
I am William, and I am playing Alexander, the Toreador, who is currently alone in being a Toreador. We are short for a Toreador.
Is any Toreador ever truly alone? Yes, unfortunately, Michelle will not be able to be with us this evening as she is at a convention doing famous published author things.
She is too good for this stream. It's okay. We all know.
She's off being successful. It's fine.
That's
We're not
Mulcavians who are
jealous.
never alone, Jack.
But she will hopefully be returning next weekend to continue her tale. So, when last we left our band of protagonists, the Sabbat had recently attacked Elysium, and everyone was in the process of desperately attempting to escape, which, due to some fairly interesting activities and some very fortunate rolls, they managed to do, making their way to a Camarilla safe house in the aftermath. Isla, who had gotten separated from the rest of the group, was met for the first time by her previously thought to have been completely dead sire, or whoever's impersonating him. There was a little bit of a discussion and transfer of information between the two, and Isla has set herself up in a position to hopefully find out more of what's been going on with all these murders across Seattle, while the rest of the coterie was off investigating what was happening with the power structures in the Camarilla in the aftermath of the Sabbat attack. We left the evening as Jameson Cunningham, one of the very few gangrel in the Camarilla and sheriff of the system that rules over Seattle, jammed a stake into the heart of Prince Lucia Enriquez and has apparently decided to depose her, along with some assistance from some of the others. So, tonight, as the planet turns, Seattle is plunged into the early morning hours while a momentary silence blankets this ballroom in the Queen Anne neighborhood. With a pair of soft impacts, the forms of the former Prince of Seattle and her second hit the floor completely immobilized. Had the living witnessed a similar event, they would likely have broken out into shouts and cries, panicked and shocked. The dead, however, only respond with a perilous tomb-like silence, heavy with tension, as Jameson Cunningham bends over the former prince of the city for a moment. What is everybody doing?
Alexander, sort of from his position still in the conversation with the Toreador Primogen, sort of leans over her shoulder and just kind of whispers to her, "You see, now the city needs the Toreador more than any other. It would be everyone owing us a favor should we assist in quelling the madness."
Editorialized note, thunderstorm really close. So if we drop, sorry.
Technical difficulties at the whims of the elements. Gotta love it. Okay.
Naomi. Watching. That probably shouldn't be surprising, but she's doing it.
Watching anything in particular?
Mostly she's looking for any particularly unusual or dissonant response. Essentially, Malkavian response from non-Malkavians.
Okay. Give me a perception and etiquette. Difficulty 8. Not reducible.
Not reduced by my eyesight?
Not reduced. Well,
I know I'm not using Auspex.
Yeah.
I have,
not reducible by Auspex, but you can reduce it with your eyesight.
Yeah. I also have just generally good eyes.
Right.
Get the feeling Jack's a little sick of me spamming that ability.
No, it's not. It's a good thing to have.
Okay, it's not a botch, but that was -1 successes, so.
Okay. So failure, but not a botch. No worries. So yeah, as you're looking around, there's a lot of tension in this room. Everybody, it's kind of hard to read responses, though, because everyone has simply frozen for the most part. Lysander, Gabriel.
Yes.
What are you guys up to?
Lysander, just seeing that, is just going to he's going to put his hair back up.
Okay.
Because he had it down this whole time. He's going to roll his sleeves down, button his shirt back up, and try to see where the rest of the gang is. Just make sure everything's all right with them, because he doesn't want to cause too much attention.
Okay. Yeah, as you're looking around, you can pick out pretty much everybody from the crowd. Gabriel is standing over near the Tremere Primogen. Mm-hmm. Alexander over by the Toreador of the same status. Where's Naomi? Wasn't she just off to the side, like in?
She was off to the side before Alexander went up to engage with his own. She was kind of shadowing him, but so probably same side of the room still, but.
Okay. Oh, and we have another guest star this evening.
Uh-huh.
Hi, Real Gabriel.
This one has decided that he doesn't want to go to sleep without me, so I have a co-pilot for a little bit. Say hello to the internet, Gabriel.
Now,
today we
for the audience, did you name your son after your character or your character after your son?
Neither. They're both named after my ancestor, Gabriel Prete, who brought the family over from Italy.
Okay.
Awesome.
Great. Now I'm not the cutest redhead on stream anymore.
So he's gonna Gabriel's gonna be piloting Gabriel for a bit, just so you know. He's gonna be rolling dice because he's fussy.
All right.
He's more important than I am.
At this point, Jameson stands up after.
Sorry, I did have something I wanted to do before he called. I want to look around. How are the Tremere reacting to these events? Specifically, my Primogen.
Okay, well, you're standing directly adjacent to him, so that won't be too hard to try and read.
Didn't the Primogen, put a hand on Gabriel's shoulder?
Yep.
Yeah, but that felt more like a something's about to happen motion, so I want to see how he's reacting now that the thing he thought was about to happen has happened.
Yes, the hand has been removed. Give me a perception and etiquette. Difficulty 7. Not reducible by Auspex.
What was the roll again? Sorry.
Perception, etiquette, difficulty 7.
Alright, hang on. Where's my character sheet? There it is. Perception, etiquette, difficulty 7.
Yes.
0 successes, not a botch though. I rolled 2 1s and then a 7 and an 8.
Clean wash. Yeah, as you're looking around, everybody is still in this just frozen aspect. If it were a group of living, breathing individuals, you would generally take that for shock, fear, panic. Right now, it seems like everybody has just stopped to watch.
Processing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can almost see gears turning behind the few people that you're able to make eye contact with.
Okay.
It's looking like this was not necessarily expected, but nobody is being reactive to it at the time.
All right, then I will follow suit and wait to see.
Jameson rises to address the room. Pledges for fealty will be now submitted by the Primogen. Others will wait until more peaceable times. All of you, steel yourselves and prepare. War stalks our streets, and we must rise to meet it. He makes a glance at a few people in the crowd and then turns and walks away, going into another room whose door is just off this main ballroom where everybody's been congregated. Almost as though a spell has been broken, people begin to shift into motion suddenly. Hadrian reaches out once more, Gabriel, to sort of pat you on the shoulder twice, and then heads straight for the door that Cunningham walked through. There's a few others that make that transition as well, but the room has thawed now, and people are beginning to move and talk once more.
All right.
I should note, they just staked the prince. They're still sitting there on the ground, aren't they?
No, there are a few people, actually, it seems, that have come to pick up the prince and the seneschal as well. If you want to see what's happening there, give me a perception and investigation, difficulty 6.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at that.
Okay.
Do I notice if my I don't have his name. My Primogen is also headed the direction of the.
Give me a perception and alertness difficulty 8.
Again, just with my eyeballs.
Just with your eyeballs.
Can I use Auspex for that investigation?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
One success on mine, by the way.
Okay. One success on mine.
Doing the same role as Alexander and Gabriel. What was the difficulty?
Difficulty was 7.
4 successes.
Okay. Naomi, as you had been watching the room, he was standing on the platform along with Cunningham and Marcus Torvigson. He's not there anymore, and you didn't see where he went or when. But you know he was up there, so he seems to be complicit.
Okay.
4 successes for Lysander, 1 for Alexander, 1 for Gabriel. As you guys are watching, the prince and the seneschal are being wrapped in canvas currently by a pair of ghouls each. You assume that these ghouls have some level of allegiance to somebody who is up on the stage, but you don't recognize any of them.
Do I know the significance of them being wrapped in canvas, or
give me intelligence and occult difficulty 7,
if there is any? Two successes.
So you don't know specifically if there's any sort of ceremonial significance to it, but if you're going to move a couple of bodies with stakes in them, generally it's safer to conceal them.
Yeah.
And it occurs to you that wrapping them up might provide some level of mundane securing of the stake so that it doesn't come out when you don't want it to.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't. I just want to make sure that I wondered if there was like, oh, this means that they're going to execute them.
Yeah, no,
so
not that you can tell.
Okay.
And yeah, given the way the attack was carried out, you get the feeling that execution, it might not be a foregone conclusion. It might happen, but you don't know.
Yeah. I didn't know if that was like a clue.
Right. Which is when Simon, or sorry, not Simon, Jimmy comes up to you.
Yep.
With leading an individual behind him. Gabriel, if you can find the rest of your friends, now that the cat is out of the bag, so to speak, it's time for us to discuss a couple of things.
Of course. I will look over. Do I see where they're all at right now?
Give me perception and alertness, difficulty 6, reducible, however you like.
I should say that previously, before the big thing happened, Naomi, he was trying to put herself in a position where she was available if anyone was going to come up to her. So,
Yep, you can see it. 3 successes, you can see all of them. Yep.
Has my Primogen also headed for the door?
Yes.
Okay.
I will pull out my phone, send a message to the group text sans Isla because she's not here. Meet up. Jimmy wants us, and then I'll raise a hand just to indicate where I'm at for them.
Okay. So yeah, as you guys are scanning the room, you guys see Gabriel give this sort of beckoning gesture, and you can see that Jimmy's over there next to him as well.
I'll head over.
Yep.
I'll do the same.
Walk that
Okay.
way.
Probably fall back into Alexander's shadow once he's outside of his bubble.
I assume that we are no longer in the Tremere blockade, so.
No, the Tremere blockade has definitely dissolved at this point. Like a school of fish when a stone is dropped into a pond.
Yep.
And you got the feeling that they are probably all headed off to do their own individual sort of evaluations of the changing scenery.
The Tremere clan is currently determining whether or not we need to change princes a second time tonight.
Right. Pretty much. But Jimmy gathers you all guys all together. So, now that things have changed, well, I decided it was time for things to change for you a bit as well. Your assignment is going to adjust somewhat. And in light of that, I figured a little more muscle couldn't hurt. And he sort of steps to one side, revealing a rather small figure behind him. Mara, go ahead and describe your character's appearance.
Velma is a 70-year-old woman, sort of wrapped up pretty heavily, in a lot of random bits of clothes, and she's sort of like sitting there quietly, knitting away, as she does most times.
Knitting
on
old bread.
a pink something. It will.
Oh.
And
She lost you for a second there.
Oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
She's just knitting away on something. You can't tell what it is yet. It's pink, though. It's bright pink.
Any clear can't plan indicators?
Yes. Very clear. The
Yeah.
visage is obviously Nosferatu.
Okay.
Not too hard to tell.
No.
So Naomi has a moment where she's looking at the hands and being like, Malkavian, and then, oh wait, no. Oops.
So I don't say anything.
This is
I just
Mrs. Velma Smith. She will be assisting you with your investigations. She has networks in the community that may be helpful. And, well, I'm sure her other talents will become apparent with time.
Yeah, I do the look. No, not saying anything. Just sort of look at Jimmy, look at Velma, look back at Jimmy.
He has this very slight shit-eating grin on his face, like, yeah, this is happening, Gabriel.
Alexander's like the left side of his lip just slightly curls up in this, oh, I am highly amused right now, but the rest of his face is still like flat.
Lysander
I'm probably
pulls out
looking-
his
yeah.
glasses from his pocket protector pocket, and he's going to look at what she's knitting to see if he can figure out what it is.
Give me an intelligence and
Lysander
crafts
pulls out his old man
difficulty
glasses.
8.
Takes a look. Never know what it might be. Pardon me there, what are you knitting, young lady? I'm quite curious myself.
You have no idea.
Takes his glasses off, and I'm just like, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And she's just looking over everyone, taking measures of who
So-
people are.
Gabriel is fairly tall. The ever permanent 5 o'clock shadow, because he had it when he became a vampire apparently, and as we all know, you can't really shave a vampire. And black hair, just sort of messy, kind of in a tangle, pretty much like mine. Wearing a 3-piece suit, slightly atypical in that instead of just being plain black like the rest of the Tremere, and apparently entertaining to my son, it's almost like navy and white or navy and gray pinstripe with or sorry, not pinstripe, plaid pinstripe kind of thing, with zippers in place of buttons. So it's this very neoclassical, weird amalgamation of a suit. And trilby, because it's a suit hat, and it goes with a suit. Sorry,
Shoes are gonna get dirty.
Definitely
Yes.
noticeable.
He
Your
always
shoes are
gets
gonna get
passive aggressive
dirty.
when he talks about the freaking trophy.
you get the sense that he's very particular about his clothes.
Yes, I do, and that is hilarious to me. I'm excited for that.
Naomi she's pretty short. She looks like she's somewhere between the ages of 15 and 40 and just has that somewhat vampire, though probably she was like this in life too, indistinguishable age. She wears, well, today she's probably wearing a light-colored sort of just jacket with a knitted sweater underneath. Some probably slightly paint-splattered pants. Probably still a little singed now that I think about it. I think we all probably look a little worse for the wear.
Probably. Given that you just came through an alley fight with a bonfire and then climbed a,
Yeah.
eight-story brick building and then hiked halfway across town.
Her hair is a little shorter than shoulder length and matted but very purposeful in its shape.
Okay.
Alexander is where everyone else is sort of has their initial looks that are kind of roughed up over the course of recent events. That's sort of the look that Alexander is cultivating. He sort of has the image of the world-weary wanderer, but it's something that you would imagine being pulled straight out of the cover of a romance novel because he's still a toreador. His outfit is very much the sort of like the open double-breasted suit that has seen far too much of the road. The hair is long and very lightly graying, mostly like salt and pepper black. He's got a very Spanish visage, very thin, well-kept goatee. And he just sort of has this constant look of judging the qualities of everything about everyone around him.
Okay.
Lysander is taller than Gabriel by like about 2 or 3 inches. He is currently wearing all black, black shirt, pants, and combat boots. His couple buttons are open because he usually likes to show his chest tattoo, which is basically like a triforce of snakes. One biting each other's tail, which represents his old gang, the Purple Snakes. He also wears a gold ring on his left finger to signify that as well. His hair is long and reaches down to the small of his back. It's black on top and it ombres down to silver. He usually wears a long silver trench coat that has the insignia in the back, but he currently doesn't have it right now. But you can obviously tell that he's not from Seattle. As a matter of fact, you can probably tell that he's definitely from New York.
Yep.
So we have the film noir gangster. We've got the romance cover novel. We've got the crazy homeless lady, and we've got the rock and roll star from abroad.
Pretty much.
Naomi doesn't look homeless. She looks too cultivated for that. She looks more like those people in the maker movement who want to look homeless, but also spend a fair amount of time in the shower getting that look right.
Looks, I believe the term is stressed.
She looks like the patron saint of a thrift store.
Yeah.
She probably
but as you guys are sort of doing this group evaluation exchange, Jimmy glances over his shoulder, gives somebody a nod, and then says, "All right, everybody with me. Time to meet the prince." And he starts walking towards that same door.
I'll follow.
All right.
As we're leaving, can I very briefly, no aspects, just glance around and see if anyone's taking particular interest in our leaving?
Yes, give me a perception and etiquette again, actually. Difficulty 7.
Can I make that
And I'm assuming I can use my eyes.
Yes, you can.
5 successes.
Nice.
7 if this is tactical. I don't
Not
even
really
need
tactical,
my magic button of win.
I have no successes, but not a botch.
All right. So yeah, Alexander, you're just kind of heading straight for the door, trying to make sure that yes, you are focused because this is where sort of this society hinges as far as the Camarilla is concerned. It's not every day. In fact, it's a very rare occurrence for the prince of a city to change.
This is where if I have a chance to change anything, this is it.
Right. So yeah, this is
Oh,
this is
by
going
the
to
way,
be one of
for the
those
lineup
evenings that is
walking,
spoken about
Santa's gonna be in the
for decades, if not centuries, to come. When a gangrel deposed the reigning prince of Seattle and set himself up in her place. Naomi, as you're looking around, you're seeing that Giselle St. Clair, the Toreador Primogen, is coming out of this same door as you guys are going in. And as you get closer, Naomi realizes that the room itself is empty except for Jameson Cunningham, which means that you guys are literally the next group to go in and speak with the new prince after the Primogen have all been in there.
Okay.
Which is slightly worrisome on a social relevance scale, but there it is.
It's always good to have more information when you walk into a possible execution.
But you guys are all ushered in. Jimmy shuts the door but remains on the outside. Jameson is simply standing. The room is decorated in a sort of sitting parlor kind of area. Padded chairs, a couch or two, a grandfather clock in one corner, a false-fronted fireplace, one that is obviously not designed to actually hold a fire. at any point. There's no chimney or anything. Just there for the aesthetic and the decoration. Candlesticks and lamps and that sort of thing kind of round out this vaguely luxurious sort of appointments that define this room. And Jameson is simply leaning up against a wall to one side of the fireplace and sort of just gestures for everybody to sit down.
Nope.
I sit down.
I'm going to grab a chair.
All
I'll
right.
do the same.
That's it.
He looks at each of you individually, his eyes resting on Velma's for just a fraction longer than everybody else's, and then gives a brief nod. Well, thank you all for your discretion this evening. Mrs. Smith, I have heard your name from Jimmy. He seems to have a decent amount of respect and trust in your conduct over the years, and as one of my counselors, I'm going to trust his evaluation of you. Given the information, Gabriel, that you've brought to my attention, it's apparent that the Scourge have been co-opted by whoever's masterminding these murders and may, as you say, very well be behind instigating this about attack this evening. So I find myself in the market for better enforcement personnel. Congratulations, all of you. Anybody who wants to can make an intelligence and politics check, difficulty 7.
Yeah.
Politics. That's something I'm good at. Actually, I am. You said 7?
7.
2 successes.
1 success.
The
Wait, I
one
wish
week
I had a
Michelle
specialization.
isn't here. We really, really need her.
3 successes.
That's
I mean, she wouldn't be in
I'll
the
try
room
it.
anyways, so...
In
Yes, I realize that. That doesn't change my point.
politics?
Yes, intelligence, politics, difficulty 7.
Okay.
Lysander got 3 successes. I'm just happy he's
Alright.
smart.
I probably don't know
Wait,
anything.
that's
Great.
there's no way that was the correct number. Oh yeah, no, okay.
Hey!
When I had 2 dots in
Beginner's
politics.
luck.
And 2 successes for Velma. All right. So those of you that achieve successes, you all know that the Scourge is the enforcement arm of the Camarilla's laws. And it is, however, frequently a thankless sort of job, and one that is kind of looked down upon, and the individuals who are given that responsibility tend to be avoided by the rank and file of the Camarilla at large.
As if we hadn't already had a thankless job.
Well, they usually have a fair bit of leeway in the pursuit of their duties, but given their employment as sort of the punishment and enforcement bureau, people usually don't like having them around for some reason. Because, why would the cops show up if nobody was in trouble? Well, then let's just stay away from the cops. So it's not without its status, but it's kind of a double-edged sort of Damocles type of status. He steeples his fingers in front of him, though, and thinks for a moment. I believe that, unfortunately, your predecessors all fell heroically holding off the influx of Sabbat that attacked Elysium this evening.
Of course.
And he gives you a very level stare as if to communicate, yes, this is the story we're going with.
No, I witnessed that myself, in fact.
Well, courageous and committed servants, will leave some very large shoes to fill. Hopefully, you will all be equal to the task. I will be collecting the Primogen together to obtain their best efforts in the defense of Seattle against this invasion of our brethren. You will still be able to report to Jimmy Ulster regarding any advances you reach in determining who is behind this. You will not per se be reporting to him, although I would recommend consulting him whenever you need. He is a valuable resource with a good deal of connections throughout the city that may be helpful should you find yourselves delayed or frustrated at any point. Do you have any questions? And there's a very sort of, you'd better not have any questions, but I'm asking anyway, kind of tone.
And just for me, storyteller, how aware am I of what has gone down in the recent lead up to this?
Jimmy would have told you. Yeah, Jimmy would have given you a little bit of intro to it. There have been a number of murders happening in some vaguely sequential fashion across the city. They seem to be designed in a way that will significantly shake up, if not completely break, the Masquerade, if any of the non-kindred elements in the city were to stumble across the aftermath of these crimes. Mm-hmm. And it appears to be affiliated with some sort of weird occult something regarding ancient and extremely powerful personages from vampire history. But that's about as much as he's given you.
Okay.
Enough to give you kind of a basic idea of what's going on, but not enough to send you screaming for the hills.
Mm-hmm.
No question from Gabriel.
Very well. You're dismissed for the evening then. I will expect reports every other day. Good evening, all. So who gets up and leaves first?
I do.
Okay.
Lysander does.
I get up and leave.
Naomi will give her respectful but bizarre sort of bow and also leave.
I'll leave, yeah.
After everyone else has left, Alexander remains for just a moment. Has Mr. Ulster told you the information that I received? He gives a nod.
Yep, just a nod.
Very well. Then you know my stance, and I shall continue my position.
Understood, Mr. Raven.
And he turns and heads out.
Okay. So, you guys are now in a mob of quiet and slightly jumpy vampires, which is not at all a comfortable place to be, even as one of them. What do you plan to do next?
Right now I'm wrestling with a baby, so...
Where did you find a baby?
When a man and woman love each other very much, they do a very special dance, and 9 months later there's a baby. Right now his player is wrestling with a child, so...
Okay. Any of the other four of you?
Lysander's going to turn to Gabriel, and he's going to say, "I would like to get my belongings back. If there's a possibility we can do that."
Yes, we should go retrieve my car. if we can. I believe it has several of our belongings in it.
It does.
Sure.
If it's there.
We need to discuss our strategy.
And we need to bring you up to speed if you haven't been already.
Yes, that would be lovely.
Naomi's just gonna keep her eye on the room.
Very well then.
The room has 4 walls and a ceiling, and is full of people who are going through various stages of shock and adjustment.
I would suggest our first plan of action be retrieve our belongings from wheresoever they may be, and then reconvene in our domain to discuss next plan. Unless there's any objections to that.
Agreed.
I have a brief conversation to see about finishing, but I will join you shortly.
Very well. And while we do that, I'm going to go try to put him back to sleep.
Okay. So, Alexander, are you going back to your Primogen or to somebody else?
To my Primogen.
Okay. Yep. Giselle is holding court currently.
Mhm.
She is surrounded by primarily Toreador, but a couple representatives from other clans, speaking to them in a low voice about her opinions of the changing political field here in Seattle. Everybody seems to be paying rapt attention as to whether they believe anything that is coming out of her mouth. That is anybody's guess, but she's holding forth a fairly lighthearted conversation.
Do I sense a small mode of presence?
You actually don't. Nothing overtly paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
This is all her.
This is just how well she holds up people.
This is just I've been a Toreador for X amount of years, and I know how to command attention without necessarily burning blood to do so.
I wait, obviously within visual range of the Primogen, but near the outer end of the ring of people watching.
Okay. Are you looking for an opening or waiting for her to finish or what?
I'm mostly waiting for her to... I'm not going to interrupt her conversation.
Okay.
I'm waiting for her to notice me, and from there I will see what happens.
All right. It's only about 30 seconds before she notices you.
I'm just standing there, hands in pockets,
right?
Half-cocked grin.
She does one of a kind of very subtle glance, as if she's scanning her entire audience, but she lingers just a brief moment, making eye contact with you before continuing on. You could barely notice the pause if you weren't the target of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you note her topical focus of discussion alters just slightly. Less of an opinion and analysis of the social layout and more idle speculation about the future and the necessity of everyone pitching in and doing their share to ensure that things turn out in a way that is most beneficial and secure for everybody in the near future.
The half-cocked grin just kind of widens a little bit as I wait for the conversation to begin to die down and the crowd to begin to disperse.
Yeah, she winds it down fairly quickly after that, making some sort of half-joking excuse about needing to call the evening early tonight, and gestures seemingly at random for 2 or 3 people to follow her. You are definitely included in that number.
Mm-hmm.
And she begins to make her way towards the exit of the ballroom.
I follow, of course.
Yep. And the other 2 people that she indicated have definitely seen this move from her before, apparently, because they sort of drift back just slightly to where they're flanking you and her, allowing the two of you to converse in a moderately private manner.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Ravenhall.
A beautiful speech, Your Excellence.
Yeah. Needs must when the devil drives.
Yes. I think that
He
this
seems
is...
to be driving fairly well so far.
Yes, I think that with recent events, a bit of altruism from the Toreadors leaves everyone with a favor to owe us.
Absolument. So,
And
you have further information for me?
indeed, I do. It seems that a small selection of individuals will be taking over the position that our valiant scourges lost their lives to.
Ah, well, I trust that the example of sacrifice will be fully fulfilled by you and your companions.
We will see where this leads, but I believe that there is more to come. And I think the full attention of perhaps the city itself shall be on the events that follow.
Where else indeed would it be? And if your new position gives you need of some extra force at your back, I will allow you to call on me once. I have resources that I can, temporarily at least, put under your guidance.
I thank you for your generosity, my lady.
And there's definitely an unspoken, you will naturally owe me a fucking huge ass favor.
Oh no, yeah, it's like there's no question of it.
Right. But and this is exactly what you'd expect for, post adjustment political capital at this point. Everybody immediately starts either indebting themselves or desperately trying to make sure others are indebted to them in the aftermath. And it's not really it's a matter of pragmatism. Some people are coming from a position of more strength than others, but everybody's hedging bets at this point.
And I am doing the best that I can to shift those attempts at indebting people to a little bit more altruism.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the gist of my conversation with her if you want to play through it.
Okay. Yeah, and you know that your Primogen, like most Primogen, is not a terribly altruistic individual. They don't get to where they are by selflessness.
Mm-hmm.
But
even if it's a position of we're helping them so they owe a favor, they're still helping them, which is why
right. And you have cultivated a fair talent over the years for overlaying pragmatism and selflessness wherever possible.
Yeah.
And pragmatism is one of those things that holds currency almost everywhere. So you're able to sort of get that personal agenda of yours dovetailed in a little bit with that whole practical acquisition of influence and power that everybody seems to be jockeying for pretty seamlessly.
Mm-hmm. And after that conversation ends, when she presumably finds that she needs to be somewhere else, I will return to the group.
Yeah, she'll part with you at the exit. The other two will continue to follow, and she vanishes into the darkness.
Mm-hmm. Now we'll return to the group.
All right. So Gabriel, having seen
Lysander was
Alexander walk
phone.
off with his Primogen, Alexander has now returned. And you 5 are left to your own devices in the middle of the room. Aaron, what's Naomi up to? You are muted, I believe. Aaron.
Aaron is definitely muted.
Aaron,
is
you are
definitely...
completely muted. We cannot hear a word you're saying.
How long were you going to wait for me to be unmuted?
No, I've said it just as soon as you started talking, but you apparently didn't hear me.
Yeah, we were telling you while you were talking.
It's all good.
Huh.
What's Naomi up to?
Naomi is maybe at the same time that Alexander's doing his thing, just gonna try and again be part of the crowd, but separate enough that she's available if anyone waves her down or starts to engage her.
Okay. Give me an appearance and empathy difficulty 6. Let's see how this pans out.
Five successes?
All right. It's only about 5 minutes before Armand Black just kind of appears at your elbow and gives you a nod and a smile. So
Flair is... I had to transfer over to a new notebook. Armand Black was...
that guy you kissed, yeah.
Okay. There's a sort of tilted head nod, almost like her face, her head doesn't remove itself from the owl to nod.
Okay.
And back, but...
So what do you think?
Things suddenly move rather quickly.
And apparently you're of use.
I would hope so.
You see his eyes move very quickly just to scan the room once. You can see him trying to judge, just by what little information is available from the outside, what probably transpired in the room off of the ballroom. Still working with Mr. Ulster, then, I take it?
Indeed.
Gives kind of a satisfied nod, as if he feels content with his deductions. Will we be seeing much of you at Elysium, then?
One can never say where the world flows in times of change. I, of course, like all love. Naomi's a lot better at being insane than I am. Elysium is, of course, a crux of importance, especially in such times.
Well, if you have need of anything, feel free to call on me. I'm sure we can arrive at a suitable arrangement should the need arise. And then he'll just sort of pause. And he almost goes statuesque. He picks a point in the room to stare at. His form, while still arranged to provide an aesthetic sort of deportment, becomes borderline motionless. You've never seen him do this before, but he does it very quickly and very well.
Yeah. Do I have any idea what the implication is?
You can give me a intelligence and empathy. No, wits and empathy. Difficulty 8.
He's
Good,
literally
I'm
just
better
posing
at
for
that.
imaginary cameras.
Why do I always botch with this specific guy?
Yeah, you feel like this is probably just some sort of very subtle, maybe even just for his own benefit, little personal performance art thing that he's doing right now. And he's
Well,
doing
then
it pretty well.
Would probably be rude to comment on it, but she'll just continue on the conversation as though, not as though she didn't notice, but as though she's doing the Malkavian thing. Oh, you're now constantly biting into the arm of a chair. I'm just going to continue talking to you.
Right.
Okay. Such offers are, of course, always deeply appreciated.
No response.
Because the second thought crossed her mind, does this feel to her at all like how Duden Jr. felt?
The skirt.
No, it does not feel
Okay.
as though he's gone through a change in personality or anything like that. He's gone through a change in behavior, but it's definitely still Armand Black.
No, more she's thinking is it the instinct of this is also a madness.
Nope,
Okay.
this is something he seems to be doing very deliberately and intentionally.
All right.
Lysander, what are you up to?
First thing Lysander does is that he just wants to keep his eyes out for just anything that happens in the room. What's that roll that I need to make for that?
That would be perception and etiquette, difficulty
Okay.
7. Things have calmed down a little bit now. And are you looking for anything in particular, or for any individuals in particular?
I'm really just looking at the just the way the room moves, as opposed to just anybody that moves in a way that catches my attention.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it, and tell me how many successes you get.
That's one success.
Okay. The main thing you notice is that the room is set up almost like a small number of solar systems. The Primogen have moved each to their own zone, and people are just sort of orbiting and circling around them. Some people are changing from one grouping to another, but it's very centered on these people in positions of influence. And it kind of makes you think probably the reason that this is happening is because these are at least positions of influence that are not in flux. Nobody's trying to supplant a Primogen at this point, so the Primogen at least are still where they are. They're sort of the touchstone right now. Everything else is up in the air. The Master of Elysium is missing. The Seneschal and the Prince have just been deposed, and they are now gone from the room. Whoever wrapped them up has carried them away somewhere. The current prince is isolated himself to a position elsewhere. So yeah, the only thing familiar right now is that the Primogen are still apparently the Primogen. So we're just going to try and orient ourselves to that.
Okay. Then he's going to be checking his phone just to see if he got any messages. He's going to shoot a message to Gizmo to see what's up with his financial status, his financial situation, because he really still is in need of a car. And anything he's gotten from Featherstone or Reinhardt or any members of the Court of Lavender who might have sent him anything.
There's a little bit of info from the court coming back. The Lavenders are still moving on your last instructions to them. Gizmo says that he thinks he's got the finances sorted. So things should hopefully be functional in that quarter. Nothing from Featherstone right now. You're imagining he's probably pretty busy tonight, given everything that has gone down. But he hasn't responded to any requests that you've sent him yet. Velma, you're kind of new to this whole thing. The evening started out more or less normal, going to Elysium, but then you were attacked by the Sabbat. You escaped with a couple other members of your clan to a safe house that you'd heard of but never been to. You saw the prince of the city get deposed, and then you were suddenly appointed an official position as sort of the long arm of the law.
Mm-hmm.
How is she reacting to all of this?
Jimmy knows me from previous things. Is this
Jimmy
surprising to me?
Which part?
Or is this the being appointed? Like
that is probably pretty much a shock to you. I mean, you have some status in the Camarilla given your tenure as a member. And, you know, Nosferatu are generally pretty good at filling out whatever they need to. But they're usually not very welcome in the halls of society. They're useful, but they're not always welcome.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you were to be given an official position, sure, Scourge kind of makes sense because it's sort of one of those jobs that has to be done, but nobody really wants to do it because everybody thinks you're an asshole when you do it right. So, I mean, it sort of makes sense, but yeah, this is nowhere near what you expected your evening to pan out to be.
Oh yeah, no, I assume my Primogen is not here.
Like, no, your Primogen actually is here. You saw your Primogen. You saw your Primogen stake the Seneschal, the second in command, through back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Marcus Torvigson was right there in the middle of everything.
So,
okay.
I've been
Which is something very unusual for the Nosferatu Primogen.
I've been in and out. I just want to make sure I've got everything clear. We made plans to go retrieve our stuff and then reconvene at our domain, and then immediately two of us wandered off to do other things.
Naomi and Alexander both explicitly said, we don't have stuff there.
The only thing I have to retrieve is my pistol, which I can get somewhere else. I can replace my pistol at any point.
Isn't Naomi's car also there?
No.
I think she rode with you guys, didn't you? Wasn't
yeah, she rode with you because she couldn't feasibly park at Elysium because she needs to park several blocks away from wherever she's going.
Yeah. She has a compulsion that does not allow her to avail herself of valet services.
I'm pretty certain at least
actually, if I'm not mistaken,
because I know Alexander did.
Yeah, Alexander's bike. The concept.
I know I was explicit about Naomi not being able to do that.
Yeah, I know Alexander's bike is there.
Yeah, my bike and my pistol, both of which can easily be replaced because my bike was the cheapest one you can get. But
what is Velma up
eventually.
To? Well, in this whole madness.
Yeah, I'm gonna just go over to my Primogen and say, very clean work, and then just stare at the floor, possibly spit.
Okay.
On the floor, just because this is a lot of fancy people around here, and I feel like it. I don't know what else to do.
Give me a charisma and expression, difficulty 6.
Okay, charisma and expression.
That thing you're asking a Nosferatu to do.
Hey, Nosferatu can be very charismatic.
Nosferatu just have a limit to appearance, not charisma.
Yeah, I know, it's great.
Not so much limits to appearance. They have 0. 6.
That's a limit. It's a level above which you cannot go.
Cool. 2 successes.
All right. So yeah, he kind of gives a sort of wheezing chuckle.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, he's got He's got more hair than most Nosferatu do. They sort of tend towards the skinless, lesioned sort of complexion.
Mhm. Yeah,
He's
I got
got
that going on.
he's got almost a full head of hair. In a sense, I mean, there's some patchy bits, and it tends to be kind of mishmash and spiky in a way that generally is reminiscent of, a mangy rat. And it just gives a very feral, sort of genuine but terrifying kind of grin, which, when every third tooth is broken off and jagged, it's about all that you could expect.
So what you're saying is hair is a signifier of rank for Nosferatu.
No, he just happens to have some. Well, we do what we can. Enriquez was apathetic and not doing nearly the job she should have. So
I like the change. It shakes things up.
sometimes you need to clear off the chessboard before you can play the right game.
Well, I'm apparently a piece now, because the Scourge before fell in glory. So they need new
Falling,
people.
there goes Aaron.
Oh
Yeah. Can't say that I wouldn't have picked somebody else, but I'll be interested to see how it all pans out for you.
no! Me
And he
too.
doesn't say it with any level of condemnation or criticism, just personal opinion,
Yep.
which is something that many Nosferatu feel perfectly free sharing at any given point, regardless of what may or may not feel socially appropriate to anybody else.
Yep. I nod. And I hope so too. I hope it goes well. We'll find out.
Well, you run into any assholes, hit him with your walker. And he turns and walks away.
I salute and go back to the group.
I think Lysander and I
Okay.
have already just walked out and have started going back to Elysium at this point.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It's like, so we
Where
go
are we going?
to Elysium to gather my car and my weapons and his weapons, and then back to our domain.
All right. Someone's going to have to lead me there.
You can... I point over at Naomi.
And
I'm
Velma,
doing
you would have
notice I'm being
noticed that Naomi never talks.
Mhm.
You should go ask her for directions. I believe she can tell you exactly how to get there.
All right. I hope I make it there, because if you don't, then, I mean, you're going to lose all of the valuable opinions that are contained within this
Do I
brain.
notice
so
I was pointed at?
Yeah, you would probably notice.
Make
mean,
my
you-
excuses to the guy who's no longer talking and is just sort of statuing. And head on over.
Okay.
Once again, she does this all in writing, but, you know.
Naomi knows the way back. She can get you there. And apparently she doesn't need to go to Elysium to gather stuff, so...
all right.
So, we will meet you back there. And then Lysander and I leave.
I say nothing. I just walk.
All right. So you guys are navigating your way back downtown.
Making our way downtown. I don't know how the rest
Walking
of that song
fast, faces fast. Yep.
And you're homebound.
Yep.
Which is not where you're going.
Well, by way of downtown, but yeah. It's a boomerang shot.
Yeah.
Alexander, what are you doing currently?
After I finish my conversation, I start heading to. I actually do need to get my bike, so I'll have to make my way to Elysium. But I move significantly faster than other people do.
Yes, you do. You'll probably get there in about half the time that they do. Unless somebody decides to call an Uber.
And then feed on the Uber once they get there.
Yep. So Velma and Naomi are sort of standing there, sort of staring at each other now.
Naomi probably tried to do the thing that she thinks of as a very Nosferatu thing, where she shows up behind Velma.
Okay. Let's have Velma makes a perception and alertness test.
Okay.
Difficulty 6. And Naomi make a dexterity and stealth roll. Difficulty 6.
She's not actually being stealthy about it. She's just, they're talking. I was pointed to. The logical place to place myself is behind her.
Oh, okay.
Difficulty 6.
Difficulty 6.
We'll see exactly how soon I notice you. Hey!
You totally notice her coming up.
Yep.
You see the movement, and you look over your shoulder, and Naomi's there.
Hello. Apparently you're supposed to lead me back.
Naomi will just write down the address, and I sincerely hope you have a phone number.
Yes? Why?
She'll just do that.
I pull out my phone, which is probably the cheapest phone with the most basic text capabilities possible, where you have to type in or you have to press the button 3 times to get like C to show up.
Right. Mm-hmm.
My dad has one of those. Yeah, it's totally that type of phone.
It is the most basic flip phone you've seen.
Yeah, it's a flip phone.
Ages.
Yep.
It's Austin's phone.
I'm not shocked to find this among the Camarilla, and I'm really disappointed. From a rough financial perspective, do I have enough money to get her a new phone if I wanted to? I have
You
several
could certainly
lots of
try.
resources.
You'll probably be able to. Yeah, you
All
would
right.
probably be able to afford that if you wanted to unasked replace somebody's phone.
It's not going to be unasked. It's just her going through the back of her head. And Naomi will, if she's given the number, text it mute.
Okay. Well then, we should get going. You have a car, I think they said?
I have a car at my place. I was just planning on calling a ride.
We could do that.
So, you can't. Actually, Naomi's going to...
I mean, if we
Tilt her
want to
head
make
both
someone
ways.
run screaming off into terror, that's fine.
I was going to
But I
call a
don't know
ride.
if we'll get very
I'm assuming you have your own preferred methods of commuting.
Well, it's usually just walking. I have a car. It's. I don't know if I'd get a car actually.
Yep.
How does Velma get around?
I'm not the
That's a good question.
Nosferatu. I don't have to figure out how this works.
No, I don't think I.
Nope.
Yeah. Ooh,
Velma
that's a
probably
very
just
hard
walks
question.
everywhere.
Yeah, I think she walks everywhere. I think she's like a very local person, and so yeah, she just walks everywhere because she can't take the bus anymore. So.
Nope.
Yep.
I like the anymore added to that, implying that there was a time when she could take the bus.
Yeah,
But then,
Yeah, before
but
she
She
was
then,
embraced she could
Nosferatu.
take the bus just
then
fine.
there was an incident.
Yeah, it's called becoming a vampire.
Yeah.
Oh no, like post being a vampire, there was an incident. Nosferatu can
Well,
disguise
yeah, that
themselves,
too.
so like.
Not very well. Good. So
Depends on
yeah,
your skill tree.
I don't
Depends on
have
how many
a
dots and obfuscate you have.
single one.
Yeah.
Great. No, I usually walk. So, how far is this domain?
From
I
where you
gave
guys
this-
are right now, it is probably about. Let's see. It's less than a mile, I would say. I think. A little over a mile, actually. Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, probably about a mile.
Okay, yeah. If you tell me the address or whatever, then yeah, I'd say no need to waste gas then. You know, cars are pretty much just they're very dangerous things that could explode at any point. So it's really just safer in general to walk.
So with this highly insightful level of urban insight put forth by Velma Smith, you are now left with the choice of attempting to disguise your new companion and take some form of transit, or walk and just try and stay unnoticed.
Naomi will say, would it be easier for you to move alone or with company? Is it hello?
Mara, did you
I
hear the
think we can hear
question? Mara?
Did we lose you?
Can you hear us, Mara?
I think Mara lost us.
Oh, can't hear anybody. All right.
Well, actually, this is a good time to take a break while we fix our technical difficulties.
All right, we're going to go ahead and take a break. And we'll be back in a couple minutes. Bye. And we're back. And my son
Technical difficulties have been solved.
And my son
Everybody
is chewing on the bracelet on my arm and is content, apparently. So
Well,
we'll leave
sometimes
him.
it's the small things in life.
We will leave him to that for now. Until he decides he wants something else and starts screaming.
Right. So, Naomi is in the midst of attempting to find the most efficacious way of getting Velma transported to where Velma needs to be. Resume.
So, yeah, Naomi asks, would you be more able to travel with company or alone?
I can try. I can walk by myself. It's fine. As long as you give me the address.
Yeah, the first thing she did, even before asking for your number, was give you the address.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, I can just walk by myself.
Naomi will nod. And be careful. The city is tense tonight.
Yeah, I can sort of see that.
No shit, really?
They just burned down publicly one of the greatest artistic landmarks of the entire city. Yeah, little tense.
And the prince and seneschal got staked. That's little tense.
But yeah, but Prince and Seneschal getting staked. That's inside the masquerade. Sabat basically took the masquerade, smashed it over their knee, and then pissed on the pieces.
Yeah. No,
I'm sure we'll find some way to spin it as a terrorist attack.
I'm sure you will.
I'm fine. I'll find it fine. If I get in any trouble, I'll text you.
Great thing about terrorist organizations, they're super happy to take credit for all sorts of stuff they didn't actually do.
Oh, I'm sure there's there's probably at least 5 or 6 Camarilla sponsored fake terrorist organizations out there, so that when shit gets out of hand, they've got some plausible somebody to pin it on, who then totally claims responsibility for it.
They just got a group of brouhaha somewhere in the world stirring shit up just for that purpose. Like,
Yep.
All right, you mean you want us to wreck shit for fun? Just so you can have people to blame it on? Sweet. Just go there, blow some things up.
All right, so Velma, are you going for efficiency or subtlety in your hike north?
It's not my domain, so efficiency.
Okay, give me a stamina and athletics roll, difficulty 6.
All right. Stamina and athletics, difficulty 6. Alright. Hey! 1 success.
All right. It takes you about an hour to get there. But you do eventually get there.
Yeah. On the way, I'm just, like, looking at the birds, looking at everything.
It's like 4 a.m. There's not really any birds out.
Yeah, it's real nice out. It's real nice out.
It's a comfortable temperature, yes. And being dead, most temperatures are comfortable for you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Somewhere else in the city, Alexander clears 2 city blocks in like 30 seconds, and then there's just Velma strutting along.
Yeah.
Tortoise in the hair, brother. Tortoise in the hair.
Except I'm not stopping to take a rest.
I don't think... If anyone's the hair, it's probably Gabriel.
Last I checked, the hair didn't set the forest on fire during the race.
It's an excellent motivational technique if you're trying to get people to run faster.
It's true. Also, it's excellent at killing tortoises. So I win by default because the tortoise died.
If I can, I'd like to whistle down one of my allies.
Okay.
Well, I'm one of my not allies. What's the other name? Retainers. One of my retainers. The mouse, I think, would work here.
Okay.
And Yeah. See if he shows up.
All right. So that will be beckoning, which I believe you definitely have.
Yes, I do.
Oh yeah. Right. So give me a charisma and survival difficulty 6.
All right. Where's getting used to rolling on these sheets. There we go. Oof! I botched.
Oh. So you put out the call.
Uh-huh.
Nothing happens for a minute. And then you start to see eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much of a moon tonight, but there's some, and they're reflecting the moonlight in a fairly sinister fashion.
Mm-hmm. How high off the ground are these eyes?
Probably about 1.5 feet, 2.
Okay. Small things.
There's a growl.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone around?
No,
Any
you are
people?
definitely by yourself right now.
Okay, I'm growling back.
Okay.
And a werewolf jumps out of the alleyway to kill you.
Give me a manipulation and animal ken roll,
Okay.
difficulty 7.
All right. One success.
So you conjure up this low guttural rumble from your throat. And it takes on probably 2 or 3 added levels of menace by the time it gets out into the open air, just by the way that your physiology has been warped over the years from your vampiric change and your consumption of blood. And those eyes gradually shrink back into the darkness. Apparently, whatever aggressive pack of stray dogs got its aggro on about your presence has been sufficiently deterred by your advanced predatorial nature.
Mm-hmm. I have a cane, and I just tap it on the ground and say into the air, "Didn't think so," and keep walking.
All right. Downtown, meanwhile, Alexander, you get there in probably about 5 minutes. Maybe 10. Maybe 10. But pretty damn fast.
3 dots in
I thought I was
celerity,
the one
yo.
with the long legs. Jesus.
3 dots in celerity, yo.
Yep. He literally runs 4 times faster than anybody else in this group when he wants to. Give me a perception and alertness difficulty 5,
All right. Reduce my aspects.
if you like.
I would like difficulty 4. 5 successes.
All right. So yeah,
Nice.
as you're coming up to Elysium, emergency vehicle, smoke still pouring out. They're getting the area just cordoned off at this point. They're not even trying. The building is going to come down. They're not even trying to put out the flames yet. They're trying to minimize the damage and keep it from spreading to other areas in the vicinity. You can already see where parts of the structure have collapsed into the interior. The front is just mangled, especially the first floor. Debris is everywhere, and it is crawling. It is an anthill of emergency response personnel.
So my pistol and bike were on the far end of the parking lot. Can I see them from where I'm standing?
Yes, with 5 successes, you can see the far end of the parking lot. It seems like most of the parking lot is still intact. Most of the explosion actually occurred out the front, so into the street. But it is crawling with police officers and firefighters and EMTs.
Most of their attention is directed to the building itself, though, correct?
Most of it, yeah. Not all of it, but most of it is.
How many people do I think would be drawn to me if I just went to retrieve my vehicle?
Depends. Give me a wits and streetwise roll. Difficulty 6.
Wits and streetwise. There it is. 4 successes.
Okay. I'm gonna say high or low for you on this one.
Say hi.
Okay. You did use valet services when your bike got parked, so you don't actually have the keys on it. Now, your bike is pretty easy to hotwire, or you could try and figure out where or if your keys are, assuming they survived the explosion.
And
So
the bike
you
is pretty cheap, so I can hotwire it easily, but I think I'd rather have my keys on me so someone else can't just steal my bike by putting the wires together.
Right. But finding your keys might necessitate crossing police tape and getting close to a still burning building, which is not something you're naturally inclined to do. Mostly the latter half of that statement.
Yeah. At this point, I can replace the bike.
If you
The
need
hand.
to, possibly.
The handgun is more relevant because it's honestly something that I've had for longer than the bike.
And the handgun you feel would be probably a lot easier to reacquire. Because it's in whatever your containers on your bike are.
Yeah. So I'm going to retrieve the handgun, and the bike, as far as I'm concerned, is lost. I needed to get a new one anyway. It was basically a dirt bike made to look more like a street bike anyway.
Okay. Give me a dexterity and subterfuge, or dexterity and larceny roll. Because you are trying to do this under the view of emergency personnel, and you don't technically have the keys. So, difficulty 6.
I'm gonna spend a blood point and up my dexterity for the scene.
Or just use all that celerity you've got.
Oh no, yeah, I do have my celerity. I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot that I had 3 dots in celerity. Oh god. You said difficulty 6?
Yep.
Wow, botch.
Okay.
I knew it was gonna happen eventually.
So yeah, you go to try and twist that lock open, and instead something inside goes click, and it's jammed at this point.
At that point, both of them are a lost cause, so I'm just gonna leave.
Okay.
They're both not super expensive. They were both literally 1 dot resources each.
Yep.
So.
All right. So in that case, right about then is probably when Gabriel and Lysander finally show up.
All right. Lysander, please just let me talk. I don't have time to explain whatever it is you're going to try to say.
Better yet, how about we try this? Think it would be easier for you to get through if you were in some Officer Blues?
I don't need to sneak in. They're going to bring my car to me. And I wave over one of the sort of like security. Like I go up. I'm sure there's a barricade of some kind.
Oh yeah, definitely a barricade.
And from I'm going to go to one of the less populated sections of the barricade, and I'm going to wave over one of the emergency officials.
Give me a charisma and expression difficulty 6.
Okay. 2 successes.
Nice.
So yeah, with a wave, you catch the attention of a pair of people in blues, and they step up to you. Seems to be the issue, sir.
Excuse me, and I'm going to use my second level of dominate, mesmerize,
Okay.
as I talk, making sure to lock eyes with both of them, as I'm speaking. Excuse me, it seems that in the ruckus, the valet that parked my car seemed to have brought it over to the wrong parking area. I indicate to the locked down area. If you two would be so kind as to locate the valet stand, retrieve my keys and my car, and bring it out here to me, I would very much appreciate it. And that's going to be a manipulation leadership roll. And I'm going to
Difficulty 7.
All right, I'm going to spend a willpower for an auto success. Manipulation. Leadership. One success.
So you reach out and just put that level of sort of subtle undercurrent influence in on those words. And one of them gives you a nod and makes a half turn and then kind of blinks his eyes a little bit. Squints and turns back to you. Sorry, sir, this is a active scene, and unfortunately we can't authorize the release of any individual property that's here until the investigation's concluded, which is unfortunately going to take some time. Now, I don't mind putting in a call for some transit for you.
I'm just gonna press it again. I am absolutely certain that a member of the law enforcement of your obvious rank, standing, and talent and importance can see their way to acquiring something as simple as a vehicle for me. And I'll produce my ID and everything. I'm going to do it again. Spending another willpower for an auto success. Is the difficulty up, higher, or lower?
Difficulty is still the same. His willpower hasn't changed.
Okay. I'm just pressing it in. 3 successes.
3 successes. He tilts his head at you.
Is this fast talking?
No.
Okay, never mind.
Yep. Yeah, you're not trying to overwhelm him with information.
Actually, sorry, no, my manipulation is misdirection. Never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's misdirection, but either way, 3 successes.
And let me see something here real quick. Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Adamar, was it? Yeah, let me talk to my captain, and we'll see if we can get that arranged for you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'll be back in just a few minutes. And he turns and walks away, leaving his friend there.
I was trying to mesmerize both of them, but
okay, yeah, no, it seems to, as I'm reading it looks like you can only do it to one person at a time based on how I'm reading the power.
That's fine.
But yeah, and his friend is there, kind of just scanning the area a little bit. But that last exchange between the two of you seems to have piqued his attention, and he sort of squints at you slightly.
I just smile.
Oh, you're that magician that Detective Alejandro was looking into, aren't you?
Yes, I am indeed. How is she, by the way? Have you seen her lately?
And his gaze narrows slightly, and there's a little bit of suspicion in it now.
I just have a confused look on my face.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sure you do. Now the APB is still out on her right now. Been a few days.
Oh, I wasn't aware she'd been missing. I was told she'd taken a day off. My face turns to concerned.
Give me a manipulation and subterfuge roll, difficulty 7. Gabriel, you cracked me up, dude.
2 successes.
2 successes. Yeah, well, we'll see. And the other officer comes back. Well, I spoke to my captain, and unfortunately, all I could convince him to release was these. And he hands you your keys.
Oh,
We'll be in touch about the vehicle until we figure out who exactly effectively destroyed this local landmark. We're unfortunately going to have to canvass everything in the immediate area.
that's
So-
fair enough.
Best we can hope, day or so.
Well,
You need us to. We got your information. Well, we'll be able to pull it from DMV if need be, I suppose.
yes. Just give me a call when it's ready.
We'll do. Sorry about this. Kind of unfortunate circumstance, but I hope you have a good evening.
Not a problem. Thank you very much. I turn, walk back over to wherever Lysander was standing, and hand him the keys.
The keys to your car.
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
you can get there unseen. Don't bring the car, just bring our stuff from inside it. Because I feel like a coat with a pair of knives, a gun, and a sword cane might raise suspicions.
Fortunately, we live in America, so a single handgun won't.
At the scene of a terrorist attack, it might.
The military knife that he got from the Tremere might.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking like 11-inch K-bar that
Yeah,
he's got
that's
wrapped up
what
in his
it was.
jacket.
And
Yeah.
well, he also has the machete. He also
Yep.
has like the combat machete too. So
Yep.
Sheesh.
All right, so Lysander, what's your approach going to be?
Well, I've just been keeping vigilant with Gabriel this whole time, and let's see if I want to try something.
I got the keys. You get the stuff.
I'm gonna try this. I'll actually wait until Gabriel comes back to Lysander, and just be like, so.
I hand you the keys.
All right, let's see if I can take care of it. And then I am first going to cast Fata Morgana on myself. So I'm
Okay.
going to spend a willpower and a blip to do that. And then I'm
Sounds
going to make myself look like a generic police officer in Seattle PD Blues.
All right.
And then I am going to spend another blood point to cast Apparition so that the image may move while I move as well.
Okay. So you
And then
see
I'm going to
this strange warping of space briefly, just for a flash of a moment, around Lysander, and his clothing has changed into a very capable recreation of the uniforms that your two friends had been wearing.
Very nice. Wouldn't have worked for me. They already know my face, apparently. Very nice.
No, you showed him your ID.
Well, no. Well, I mean, I know I'm already known to some members of the PD.
Yes, you
so-
are. It's true.
I almost forgot. After I'm leaving, do their stuff first, but I will put a call out. I'll call Jimmy after I decide that retrieving them right now is not going to work.
Okay. All right. So, Lysander, you are now disguised as a member of the police department. You just gonna duck the barricade and walk on in?
I'm going to attempt to.
Okay.
Let's see.
Give me.
Yeah.
Give me a manipulation and subterfuge roll. With the addition of the uniform, difficulty is going to be down to 5.
Let's see. Two
Hey,
successes.
All right. So yeah, You, remembering that very long-standing tradition of fake it with confidence and they'll assume you'll belong, you just duck under and very purposefully walk straight towards Gabriel's car. It kind of stands out in the parking lot. I mean, there's a few luxury items there, but his is definitely a one of a kind. And you stride right up to it. You garner very little attention and absolutely no concern.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do this. I'm going to actually go to the other side of the car.
Okay.
Just so I can hide from everyone's eyes, and also make sure that nobody's looking if I have to make a roll for that.
Give me perception and alertness, difficulty 6.
Okay. Four successes, 5 if it's eyes on the back of my head.
A little bit. There are a number of people kind of lingering about the perimeter of the parking lot, but the vast majority, if not all the attention, is still directed on the still burning building at this point, even if for no other reason than, hey, cinders sometimes spring out of that thing, and I would rather not have them land on my head.
Okay. So
yeah,
what I'm going to do is
you're in a fairly darkened area of the parking lot, and you're pretty sure nobody's watching.
Okay. So I'm going to dispel the Fata Morgana and the apparition of myself, and then I'm going to spend 1 more willpower and 2 more blood points to put it on the car and make it into a standard issued police PD trooper patrol car.
Okay. Sounds good.
I did make a note of getting just the items, not the car.
Yes, he did. He's ignoring you, I think.
I also did say that they know who I am.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Okay. So yeah, as you're watching and trying to make sure nobody else is paying attention, sort of focus your mind a little bit, let that blood kind of tingle through the remnants of veins that still exist in your body, and with a quick snap, the Cadillac concept car now looks more like a classic Crown Vic, complete with light bar, paint job, whole shebang.
All right.
I love that these
then
police still
I'm
use
going
Crown
to
Victorious.
Hop into the car.
It's World of Darkness. Everything's out of date.
Also, hey, Crown Vic's a classic.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it
yeah,
is.
I'm gonna hop into the car, start it, and then drive it around, like away from the scene, and try to get to Gabriel's location.
I'm gonna start
Okay.
walking further away from the scene. When I see him change what my car looks like, just facepalm. And walk.
Lysander, give me a manipulation and
Drive?
not exactly. Drive is more for actually performing complex maneuvers. This is more fly casual, you know?
Subterfuge?
I'm gonna say manipulation and stealth, actually, because it is a physical. It's not a verbal lying. It's
Good.
right. It's an actual physical act. So yeah, manipulation and stealth, difficulty 7. Because moving a car is a little more difficult than moving yourself.
Okay, let's see.
And police tend to retain a situational awareness of their vehicles.
Just
You got this, Lysander.
Just still waiting on roll 20 to work. 0 successes.
Not a botch, though.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, it's
So,
not
yeah.
a botch, it's just 0 successes.
Not a botch. So yeah, you're driving the vehicle, and go to make an exit as best you can. However, the only entrance and exits to the parking lot are physically barricaded off. And as you approach, you do see a couple of people turn their heads and look over at you as the car is going. You're pretty sure they can't see you inside it because of the reflection of the fire off the windows, but you have garnered some attention, and they are beginning to walk towards you.
Gun it! You're disguised as the PT Cruiser.
No, disguised as the Crown Vic.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm disguised as a convict. Let's see. What would I do in this situation? Like you said, barricaded off. Like, how did the barricades look like?
Currently, it's mostly like a kind of a, those. They're not wooden sawhorses. They're usually some sort of polymer, heavy duty plastic, all weather sort of material. Yeah, with the yellow black flashing reflective surfaces, that sort of thing. Yeah, there's a big heavy one of those that pretty much covers the full breadth of the exit.
Probably wouldn't even scratch the paint. Go on.
You're not there.
Do I see this happening?
Alexander wouldn't suggest. Even if he was, Alexander wouldn't suggest that.
Do I see this happening?
Gabriel, roll me perception and alertness. You stepped away, so it is reducible by aspects, but difficulty's 7.
Actually, I am there. I'm not paying attention to that specific event, but I am on site.
4 successes.
Yeah, you see it. You see the whole damn thing.
Is there some place nearby that would be better served being on fire?
I love that that's your solution. To everything.
No!
Some place within line of sight of the barricade, but not near me at all.
Give me a perception and investigation difficulty 8. Or sorry, wits and investigation difficulty 8.
Oh, don't de-escalate. Let's go bigger and bigger.
Does this count as getting the drop on others?
Yes, it would.
All right. Basically,
if you're trying to do what I think you're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm trying to make them suddenly have something else to worry about instead of the car.
If someone sees you throw a fireball, I'm not helping.
You don't.
He doesn't throw a fireball. He literally just conjures it into existence.
I'm not a D&D sorcerer. Whatever I look at catches on fire.
You know exactly what I mean.
But yes.
What was the difficulty?
No, it's a valid point still.
What was the difficulty?
Difficulty 8.
All right. This one decided.
Now that I'm thinking about it.
This one decided he wanted to fuss. Failure, but not a botch.
Yeah, you're not finding anything currently.
Well, I guess he'll have to talk his way out. I continue walking.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So let's see.
Are
there any crevices? Are there any crevices in between that barricade, or is there like kind of like a foresty area?
As far as like gaps and things, there's a tall chain link fence surrounding most of the parking lot, and then you've got a more or less open entrance that has now just been blocked off with a standard size police barricade, more or less.
Okay, let's see. How many dots in drive do I have?
You can always just disguise yourself as a cop again.
I mean, I have no more willpower points left, so it's kind of difficult.
Don't you actually make a roll to do it?
No.
Not with chemistry, no.
Oh, it has
No,
to be.
it's just you have to spend willpower and blood. Let's see.
Ah, well.
I guess I'm just going to back the car up back into the parking space and see what happens from there.
Okay. All right. So yeah. Let me roll a couple things for the cops.
Okay. Oh, and at the same time, I'm grabbing my stuff and I'm grabbing Gabriel's stuff.
Okay. So yeah, you see one of them click his radio communicator and talk into the side of it while looking at you, and then release the button.
Okay.
Nothing happens. So he and his partner sort of exchange glances, and then they talk again. He talks again, and this time he seems a lot more focused and intent. Give me a wits and empathy roll, difficulty 6.
They're waiting for a response from the car.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
What was the difficulty?
6. Yeah, you're pretty sure they just called your vehicle number and then didn't get a response back, so they're trying again.
Well, I probably wouldn't be able to, because it's just an apparition, and probably it's not anything that would get, I probably wouldn't be able to conjure up a a radio in the car. Unless...
No, and even if you did, it would just be an illusion of one. It wouldn't
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
work, right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And they begin stepping forward. Give me an intelligence and streetwise difficulty 5.
Mm-hmm. 0 successes.
So you don't know if they're going to call for backup or not. You're having a difficult time kind of reading their body language because they're sort of silhouetted a bit by the fire, and so the subtleties of how they're standing and moving are difficult to pick out. Mm-hmm. But you've been running the streets long enough to know that at this point your options are either going to be fight or run, and you can do that in the car or outside of it.
Yeah, so at this point I would probably have all the things that I need. So I'm just going to try to, it's a big enough car where I'd be able to get to the passenger side of the seat and then attempt to open the passenger side door without making any noise, and try to open it, get out, close it, and then just see if they come around the side.
Okay. Oh, also give me an intelligence and occult difficulty 5 as well, because these are your own powers you're working on.
Okay. Four successes.
You do know that as far as Masquerade and that sort of thing are concerned, I mean, if they start investigating this car, eventually somebody's going to touch it or open it, and it's going to obviously not be what it is. And then the nature of the illusion is going to be apparent. Mm-hmm. It also occurs to you that even if you did run with this car, they would be chasing down a police cruiser that has apparently been stolen. And if you break line of sight to them and then drop the illusion, all of a sudden you're not in a police car anymore, so they have no reason to suspect your car specifically unless they are very, very aware of what's been going on in the immediate area just recently.
Okay.
Yeah, no, just the super luxury car that was on the lot has gone missing, that's all.
Well, it might come back to bite you eventually, but there's a pretty significant chance that you could get away with this in the immediate future if needed to.
Short-term success.
There is a short-term solution here.
Now I've got to go send my car to a chop shop to make it seem like it actually got stolen. Either that or brain blast the entire police department, and that's going to take a lot of work.
Yeah. You know what?
Dude, I'm Loki here, man. I'm just an agent of chaos, giving you guys tools to fuck shit up.
So I'm actually gonna retcon what I did before, if that's possible. I'm just gonna stay in the car and make sure the car is still on. Then I'm going to look at the fence And then I'm just gonna say, well, I'm probably gonna owe him a paint job, and put the cinder block on the goddamn acceleration.
Okay.
Oh,
Got it.
no.
So the police are about 5 yards away when suddenly this police cruiser roars to life. And you don't even have to roll for it because you're just driving straight as fast as you possibly can. And given the mass of this vehicle, a simple chain link fence is going to be history.
Yeah, no, my car is hefty.
Yes, your car has some significant mass to it. And yeah, those front tires amp up off the curb. The headlights smash right into the fence because the illusion has changed the apparent mass and size of the car, not the actual mass and size of the car. And yeah, you rip through that thing almost like it's tissue paper. You drag it probably a good 60 yards with you before it finally rolls underneath the tires and that, 20-foot section of chain link is left behind. Meanwhile, probably a good 10 or 15 officers are now scrambling for vehicles that are unfortunately parked a little further away.
Good.
And you hear sirens behind you after you've cleared about 2-3 blocks.
Okay. So
You're still a Crown Vic at this point, and you have no idea where Gabriel is.
Okay, so I'm going to attempt to drive, get a couple more blocks down, and see if I can take just take a turn into a street where I know I'm not being followed.
Okay.
And then, if possible, attempt and making sure that the cruisers aren't behind me. Drop the thing and then just bring it to and slow down. Just trying to figure out
All right.
Bring street speeds.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a dexterity and streetwise for your evasive technique. Difficulty 7.
Okay. Come on, baby. Waiting on roll 20.
So you have burned down Pike. You've taken a slight turn to the right, coming down onto East Pine. Pine and East Pine. And then you go for
3 successes.
And then you go for a sharp left onto Summit Avenue. You burn about 2 more blocks north before you find that you're coming to a T intersection there on East Howell. So you drop the illusion.
Yep.
All right.
And then
You hang a right onto East Howell, going past these number of bars and restaurants, and carefully slow it down. Best you can tell, there were at least 2 or 3 intersections between you and the police at this point, and they definitely didn't have line of sight on you as best you could evaluate, glancing in the rearview mirror. And you slow the car down, decelerate, hang a very deliberately put on your turn signal, hang a left onto Boylston, and start heading north.
Yeah. I'm just going to start heading to the domain at this point.
Okay.
All right. And then I'm going to use the phone car. Then I'm going to call up Gabriel.
Okay. So as you're going down, you hear a number of sirens kind of distant behind you, but definitely getting closer.
Okay.
On the back of the phone
Right.
call. Probably.
One of them comes up behind you and cuts around you.
Good.
And you sort of do that kind of, city driving. Oh, somebody's got their siren on. Glance over. You edge over to the right-hand side, not pulling over and stopping, but definitely decelerating so that they think you're getting out of their way. But still moving fast enough that if they stay behind you, you can take off again. But he whips around your left-hand side and just goes charging north further ahead of you. Okay. And Gabriel, your phone rings.
I answer.
You're about You're about 6 blocks away from the Paramount at this
Yeah,
point.
I'm still walking, and I answer it. What part of just get the items didn't you understand, Lysander?
I guess I zoned out when you said that part. I just really wanted to drive the car, and I was also jealous that you got a car before I did at that freaking lot. Where are you? I'll pick you up.
I will get a car, because now you see what you need to do is actually go dump that somewhere and light it on fire. Because you've stolen my very obvious and very unique car from an active crime scene that I was just at getting the keys from, so if I am ever seen within a block of it again, they will know I stole it even though I didn't. Meaning that it has to appear that somebody else stole it and tore it apart for parts.
Yeah. You're no fun. And then I just hang up the call. And then I'm going to head up to the car lot where they got it from.
Okay. So you drive about 20 minutes north.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You don't see much law enforcement presence on the way.
Mm-hmm.
And the car lot is there, definitely closed right now. It's early hours of the morning. You've got about an hour before sunrise.
Oh, okay. All right. Noticing that, I'm probably just going to drive back to the domain and just put it in the underground parking lot of the apartment because no
Okay.
one's probably gonna look for it. I don't know.
Okay. Sounds good. So yeah, another 10, 15 minutes. You're back at the apartment. You drive in, park the car, turn it off, step out. You have noticed that... Naomi, would you have turned the lights on when you got back to the apartment?
Probably.
All right. So there is a light on in your shared apartment.
Okay.
And
Alright, so
Naomi,
I'm
what
just going to head
address
up
did you
with-
give to Velma?
She would have given her the apartment complex address and call me when you get to the...
Okay.
Okay.
So Velma, you'll probably be there in about 10, 15 minutes.
Cool.
And when Naomi got there, because she presumably got there first, without searching anything specifically, she's going to go on social media and see if what happened, the fire itself, is being covered at all in the mundane people.
Oh, it is definitely being
Okay.
covered. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, without creating any weird search history, she's gonna do the vague, ooh, what happened in the thing that is near me?
Right. General digital rubbernecking that probably most other people are doing in the local area as well. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's very little detail on it. It's more a cataloging of events, at or approximately around such and such a time this evening, Paramount Theater caught fire. It's all very vague, non-specific. There's a little bit of speculation about, was it an accident? Did something go wrong? Is this, but it's that sort of initial event.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't confirmed any of these stories, so we don't honestly know specifically what happened. Law enforcement is investigating the circumstances and will be,
Randos
providing
on
a
Twitter
report.
blaming the gay agenda or something. Yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean, there's a number of tertiary and third party individuals who have found some sort of conspiracy or idea behind it, but there's no official statement for responsibility or cause of conflagration at this point.
I had a phone call to make to Jimmy.
Yes, you were making a phone call to Jimmy, which will
No.
ring twice, and then Simon will answer.
Hello, Simon. I need to speak with Jimmy.
Yeah, he's in talks right now. Can you want me to give him a message or what?
If you could let him know to call me at his earliest convenience, I currently have eyes on the theater.
Huh. Let me see if he can talk to you then. About 45 seconds to a minute of silence. And then Simon comes back. Yeah, if you could hold on for 2-3 minutes.
Done and done.
Excellent. He hangs up. And after about that period of time, your phone will ring again with Jimmy's caller ID popping up.
Answer. How much of Lysander shenanigans did I see?
Give me a perception and alertness difficulty 7.
All right. Perception, alertness, difficulty 7. I can reduce it with aspects?
Yes.
6. 3 successes.
So you noticed him walking into the parking lot. Then you lost sight of him for a little bit, and
then the car broke out.
And then a police cruiser just ripped the fuck out of there, which may have piqued your attention enough. And if you had taken the time to look, you would have definitely
see the
noticed
luxury car isn't there.
Gabriel's
anymore,
car is not there anymore. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So when I answer the phone when it starts ringing.
Alexander, what do we got?
Well, I have visual on the situation. Currently, mundane officers are canvassing the location, and it looks like 2 of your new scourges have just been very stupid.
Okay, then.
2 of?
Do I want details on this?
You definitely do.
We're just having a little fun.
Alexander's looking to get burnt. That's what he's doing right now.
You can't hear this.
I know. But it'll come back to me
Also,
eventually.
Who's the one who's causing this problem? It is not Alexander.
No, it's Lysander, but I'm getting lumped into it.
It's the other Ander.
All right, so how much of this do I want to know about?
Looks like Lysander went in to retrieve Mr. Adelmar's vehicle, and it went about as well as you could expect when someone decides they're going to take this vehicle. Hells be damned.
All right, exactly what happened?
Very well. I saw Lysander entering the location disguised as a mundane officer. Then I saw a police cruiser, I say this with heavy air quotes, crashing off the lot, and I noticed that Adelmar's vehicle is no longer there.
Give me a perception and awareness difficulty 8. Boost as needed.
I don't think visual helps me here.
No, visual definitely does not help you. This is all auditory.
2 successes.
So as you began this conversation, you definitely noted a slight change in the sort of background sound of the call that you were making. And judging by the gales of laughter from Simon and Jimmy at this point, you realize you were put on speakerphone for that. Apparently, just the 2 of them have been listening in to this little story of shenanigans. And they find it amusing to no end.
Oh, no.
And then the phone clicks back. All right, you're off speaker. That's amazing. And yes, that was stupid as hell.
I find it brilliant myself. Just to let you know, I went to see if I could inspect my own vehicle, much less obviously. The bike and my handgun are still in the lot because I didn't decide to steal it. Just to let you know that there is one motorcycle with a handgun in the lot.
This is Washington State. Nobody's going to care.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just let me know when the investigation is complete so I can retrieve my vehicle.
Can do. Yeah. That's amazing. Okay.
If you can do anything to help out Mr. Adelmar, I think you might appreciate it.
There's some strings I can pull on that one. Yeah. Yeah. No, we'll have that handled.
Very well. Good evening, and I hope you have as much of a kick out of this as I did.
Definitely. All right. Keep me updated.
Very well.
And he'll hang up. Yeah. Okay. So, you guys are all getting back to the domain. Gabriel, how are you getting there?
Uber.
Okay. Yes, you can definitely find an Uber at this point. And everybody will arrive around an hour to go until daybreak.
And I'm on the way there. I'm going to make sure that Isla has gotten to the apartment as well.
Okay.
Because I know she had gone to the Statue of Lenin.
Mm-hmm. Isla is conspicuously absent. She has not been answering any texts, and she is not at the apartment.
All right. When I get to the apartment, is Lysander there?
I assume Naomi's there by this point.
Oh yeah, Naomi got there first.
I'm
Lysander's
pulling
there.
out that tree thing that I keep on not getting to use. Again, it's mostly covered.
Yeah. There's a number of odd objects in the main living space, though, which I don't even remember if you left it out that obviously. So
No, the purpose of it was to have it. It's not that obvious, but there's like a tarp covering it that I have positioned so that it seems like when the tarp was thrown, it was left a little more ajar than it needs to be. The point being, if I want to draw attention to it, I can straighten out that tarp.
right. Okay. So at this point, Alexander is working his way there. I think Naomi is already present. Lysander is already present. Gabriel is walking up the stairs, and Velma is rounding the corner of the sidewalk, now with the location of your given destination in sight. Finally, after an hour.
Yeah. I'd probably want to just like not looking for anything in specifically, but just try and make a roll to see if I noticed anything while I was walking, like anyone following, because we did like conspicuously go in right after the what are they called?
Right after the primers did.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
give me a perception and alertness difficulty 6. We'll say.
Okay. Just because that feels like a good idea. 3 successes.
All right. So, having been almost attacked by a pack of stray dogs, you've been kind of trying to keep your head on a swivel as you've been walking.
Yep.
And you haven't noticed anybody following you. And you feel pretty confident in your observational capacity, especially given that you've got decent eyesight in low light. And you've been moving as quickly as you can, but still trying to keep as low a profile as possible. You don't think anybody's tailing you at this point.
Okay. All right.
You do, however, well, you have a chance, actually. Give me a wits and awareness, difficulty 6 as well.
Okay. Ooh, that's a botch.
Okay. So, yeah, as you're walking up, you're pretty much just looking around, keeping an eye on things, and then suddenly something hits you like a wall. It was it was normal walking so far, and then all of a sudden there's just this vaguely menacing feeling creeping up the back of your neck. I need you to make a willpower roll.
Okay.
Difficulty 6.
All right. How do I... Oh, is that a different... Oh, I just do it like this. Okay.
Yeah.
Difficulty 6. Ha! 3 successes.
As you cross this one street, suddenly there is a palpable aura of menace. And you realize you have just wandered into somebody else's territory.
Okay.
The aura of menace is coming from me.
This does not feel safe.
No.
You've got enough focus to where you realize this is not a place that I am innately welcome. This is a place where somebody else has claimed, and they have sunk their blood into these streets and into these sidewalks. And if things go south, you are going to be at an extreme disadvantage.
All right. All the...
It is, however,
I don't have...
directly... I mean, you can see where you're supposed to go, though, like 2 blocks ahead.
So you can assume this is their domain.
Yep. I don't have hair. on the back of my neck. But if I did, it would all be standing up.
Yep.
I'm going to stand there. I'm going to stand there, keep an eye on everything, and text Naomi, I'm here.
Naomi will... Who's here by this point? Because I keep losing track.
Everybody
Lysander's
but
here.
Alexander.
Yeah, he's currently feeding the cat.
Naomi will...
I
No.
have a thing that I need to do when I walk in the door. So
Okay. So Gabriel
Yeah,
walks in the
that's
door.
why I wanted to...
And is there anything particularly flammable nearby?
There are a number of things that are particularly flammable.
Anything particularly flammable that's obviously Lysander's?
Actually,
no,
no.
not in the main space.
Not in the main room.
Oh, there's
Lysander
not.
has very little, and most of it stays in his room.
Also, Naomi's compulsions would make it very challenging for Lysander to place anything in the main room.
This is true.
So, as I walk in the door, Lysander, I don't know what it is that makes you think I make idle threats or idle promises. And I hold up my hand, which begins to smoke.
And I'm doing a thing. My
But the
phone
next
goes
time,
off.
but the next time you cost me financial property,
Pause there.
I'm in the middle of a
Naomi.
sentence, so whatever's happening
I
is
know,
happening in the middle of the sentence.
but this is
Yeah.
right. That's why I'm having you pause in the middle of the sentence, because Naomi
Yeah.
is reacting at the exact same time.
Because not in my goddamn house. Burn him, I would be cheering, but not in my house.
If that's just the phone going off, I'm ignoring it.
Oh, you can't. It is magic.
Yeah.
Then I assume I'm going to have a roll that's going to...
No, that's not what's being said. That was Aaron out of character
Right, yeah.
vocalizing
Yeah, no,
the
that's not right. Right.
things
Okay,
to the
so
DM.
what is what is Naomi up to?
I have a dot of cool your tits.
Yes, you do.
The magic power.
Yes, you
Um,
do. You definitely have a dot of calm your tits. All right.
Yeah.
So,
I
let me take a look at Gabriel's character sheet real quick.
Dementation.
Right, your
Yes.
difficulty is going to be 7. You're going to be rolling charisma and empathy.
okay. And I am trying to make emotions lesser, not
We're
greater.
trying to muffle. Yes.
I am assuming this is not something I can spend willpower on.
Yes, you can.
Oh, okay. I'm spending a willpower for an auto success.
Okay.
Charisma and empathy, difficulty 7. That is 1 success.
All right.
Meaning it lasts like a second.
It lasts for a turn.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, Gabriel, that anger that you were holding on to that was blazing,
Oh,
just
no,
like your hand was about to.
Here's the secret. He's not
I know.
angry.
Emotion
No,
still
but
fuels your
he's-
motivation, though.
Yeah.
And that
He's
motivation,
passionate
that
and
emotion,
focused.
and that passion, that intensity, just slips completely away,
Okay.
very briefly. So that's what you're operating under right now.
Okay.
All right, you have a turn. Your hand is starting to smoke.
Yeah, no, the hand's still smoking because I wasn't. If you
But
were-
you don't really feel even remotely invested in continuing what you were going to say.
Oh, okay. So it's not even like I wasn't angry in the first place, so nothing happens. It's that I'm
No.
even
You
caught.
don't get. It's not about
the
being
point
angry.
I was trying to make is now feels meaningless. Is what's happening.
Right, now feels irrelevant. Yeah.
Okay. For how long?
The rest
And
of
at
this
least the
turn.
next 6 seconds, unless Naomi does it again.
So I had just said. For the next time,
I don't know what seems to... Right, but the next time...
the next time you cost me property, and I let it hang because for some reason, for a moment, my brain goes, what?
Right.
So I'm just standing there with my hand smoking, staring at Lysander.
Give me a charisma and intimidation roll. Difficulty. God, I have to look at so many character sheets.
Oh, Jack, do you remember what my dots and resources were?
Did you have any dots and resources?
I know I had some. I just don't remember because my
Difficulty 5, Gabriel.
All right.
my character sheet says 2, and that stands out to me. I don't remember if it was 1 and it's at, and if I misclicked
It was 1, and
or
now
it
you
was-
bumped it up to 2. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think I misclicked it into 2. Okay.
Is this something I
No,
could
it's like
spend?
it got bumped up
You did
for
it
story
in game.
reasons.
Oh, okay.
Is this something
never
I
mind.
could spend a willpower for an auto success on?
Yeah.
Doing that. Also, is this something I get a pull mod for being in my domain for?
No.
Okay.
Because the pull mods would wash, technically. Because you're doing it against another person who's also in the domain.
2 successes.
Okay. So there's this implied threat, suddenly, Lysander. And it is a definite and serious threat. You feel like he might have had more to say, but you're able to sort of project it, even without him enunciating it completely. And he is deadly, lethally serious.
Okay.
Also, his hand is smoking, and you've seen what he can do when shit like that goes down, and that is not pleasant or something you want to be on the receiving end of.
All right. So,
I close my hand and the smoke goes away.
Right? Hold there. Lysander, your turn.
Naomi like growls at the smoke a little bit, because she's on edge, and this is her house. It comes out like a kitten growl of a really harmless but terrified cat.
However, it is significant enough in that it is possibly the only verbal sound you have ever heard Naomi make in all the days that you have known her. Lysander, what are you doing? You have a turn.
so Lysander's just going to grab Gabriel's sword cane. He's going to grab his keys, put it in one hand, extend it over, just be like, here you go.
All right, Naomi. Your turn.
Naomi will. Alexander's here at this point, right?
No, not yet.
Oh, damn it.
Just the 3 of us.
I can diffuse this when I get there, but I'm running at celerity speed right now.
Yeah. No, it's fine. You don't need to diffuse this. I can diffuse this just fine. on my-
Alexander's going to be there in about 7 minutes, probably.
And the apartment's on fire when he gets there.
This is
And
gonna be.
you're aware that Gabriel's next turn, all those motivations are going to come flooding right back.
Was I able to close my hand at the end of that? Or
Yeah.
what?
Mhm.
So
Yeah, you closed your hand and the
smoke's
smoke
gone.
went out. Right. The smoke is gone.
Yeah, the first dot of dementation is basically inflame or extinguish emotions. Your choice.
Good,
Yep.
thing, good thing didn't go with inflame.
I think you were doing that just fine yourself.
Naomi will. If you wish to have this conversation, you will not be having it in my home. The domain is reasonably large. You're both obsessed with the statue of Lenin. If you want to talk, you will go there. Otherwise, we have a Malkavian antediluvian to deal with. This all comes across text.
Right. And as you finish that text to speak, your phone buzzes with a text from Velma saying, "I'm here."
And if I still have anything I can do with my turn, I'm going to go poke my head out the window.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, like, talking, even with text to speach, is still a free action as I'm
Okay.
ruling it. So, yeah.
Text to speech is a free action, even though it takes like 6 seconds.
You know what? She is so comfortable and familiar with texting
Yeah.
that it
Probably
really
does,
is
yeah.
just
I was
as
gonna
fast
say,
as
yeah, she
talking.
doesn't-
to,
yeah,
to be to be fair, also, even if it wasn't, you can use one hand to text while you're doing other things.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And you've got enough mental acuity to reflexively
Looking
text
for
and do
her.
stuff. Yep. So yeah, you see her about a block and a half south.
Mm-hmm.
Wave out the window.
Velma, give me a perception and alertness difficulty
Okay.
7.
All right. Perception alertness.
I mean, she's trying to be seen, but she's also kind of far away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 7. 1 success.
So yeah, there's a tiny little figure out there waving at you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi.
I don't want to get closer. Can you all come out here?
Gabriel, your turn.
Do I know what just happened to me?
Give me an intelligence and occult difficulty 9.
I stopped you from burning down my house.
Is the actual answer.
Do I get a pull mod to that?
No.
Difficulty what?
9.
Sorry, I have a wiggling child on my lap. It's hard to remember information. 1
Okay.
success.
You don't know the details, but given the growl, the focused look, and the weird sort of momentary removal and then resurgence, yeah, you're pretty sure she did some sort of mind juju to you. And you've got enough rationality to yourself to understand probably why she did it.
Yeah.
Your response is still your own choice, but
Yeah.
you've got an academic sort of, you don't know how she does it or how it actually works, but yeah.
I reach out, take my stuff from Lysander.
Mhm.
Naomi, if you don't want your apartment burnt to the ground, stay out of my brain. And then I will sit down.
Okay.
Why is it so hard for a group of vampires to keep fire out of the house? I will text to Alexander.
As I'm running down like blocks, I just get a.
You don't necessarily need to pick up your phone.
Don't text and run at Mach 2.
I'm not that fast yet.
So you get broken noses.
Just, what's that? Wham!
Right. It's an El Kabong moment, definitely.
Exactly. Who put this pole here?
Who put this pole 3 miles back?
Yeah.
Also, I think our Nosferatu friend's gonna need an escort from the edge of the domain.
No, it's like when I get the phone text, I slow down to reasonable sprinting speed, and then
You use one of those 4 extra actions to read a text on the fly. Anyway. But yes, so Lysander and Gabriel have both been informed that your newest ally may need a little bit of an escort.
Oh, have we? I thought that was just Alexander.
No, that was to everyone. Sorry. The why
The fire
can't
comment.
the fire
was-
comment was
Got it.
Dad. They're fighting again.
Alexander is definitely the Soldier 76 of this group.
Definitely.
Aw.
I'm May.
not even just Satan.
Yeah, no. What's it called? Gabriel is definitely Pyro. He's not even Pyro. He's just Pyro. He's Pyro. Not as crazy as Pyro, but he's still Pyro.
Andy.
I will get
So
up.
what are...
I will get up and walk out to go help Velma get to the apartment, I guess.
Okay. So yeah, you step outside. There is a very familiar hunched and hooded figure about a block and a half south.
I look at the
Yep.
time. It's an hour or so to sunrise. You don't want to meet outside.
As he walks close enough for you to hear.
Yeah. Yeah, that's as I'm walking to her, that would be what I say.
All right. It's fine. I come with you. Does the feeling lessen at all?
Incrementally.
Okay.
You're you're able to sort of, it's not so much that the feeling lessens as that
I'm
now
just
that
used
you've
to
got things in sight, you're able to sort of rationalize it a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's less of a, it's your logical side overtaking your reflexive side of your psyche.
Okay.
Right.
All
you know,
right.
so it's walking into the pen with a dangerous creature and then suddenly realizing, oh, that dangerous creature is actually my friend. Comparative
Yeah.
tension reduce.
Associate.
Right. Associate, ally, that dangerous creature has been instructed by people who can make its life miserable to cooperate with me.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
It says, "Oh God, I'm in another vampire's lair. Wait, I'm supposed to be working with that vampire. Hang on."
right.
You hopped into the lion's den and found out that the lions were all right. They're not going to kill you.
Currently.
I haven't decided that yet.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I walk up.
Okay. So Gabriel escorts Velma into the apartment.
Did I hear your name at any point in this? This is a good question.
Gabriel Adelmont.
Naomi.
Jimmy would have made introductions back
Yeah.
then.
Okay.
Yes. Even
All right,
though I
cool.
kind of neglected to, yes.
All right,
Jimmy would
cool.
have given everybody's names, at least.
All right. Sweet. I was just wondering because that just struck me. It's
Yeah,
like,
no, that's a
did I ever hear anyone's
very
names?
very relevant, valid point.
Okay. I walk up because I haven't heard anything about what happened. So.
Yep. There is a noticeable level of tension in the room, but
Mhm.
no clear explanation for it.
All right. Is there any place to sit?
Naomi, how many chairs
Um,
or seating areas do you have in your?
Correction, how many boxes
In
are still
terms
there
of-
that should sit there?
Proper chairs, there's probably 4, maybe 5. In terms of places to sit, there's several more because there's a lot of like crates and boxes that are purposefully random in their strewn about places in the room.
All right. Is there
So
anything?
there's a Fibonacci distribution of seats in the room.
All right. Is
Yeah,
there any
roughly.
place with a cushion or something fabric color covered?
Probably at least one of the chairs is a somewhat plush chair, and there's probably also at least one of the boxes that kind of just has blankets over it or
Mhm.
tarps.
If you're so
Alright.
tired, go to sleep.
I
Not
hobble
try
over to one
logic a
of
child.
I thought he was talking to me
I-
for 1 second.
hobble over to one of the comfier looking chairs and sit down gingerly.
I'm talking to
And
this
look
one
at you,
who's
all of you.
very tired but won't go to sleep.
Mm,
At which point, Alexander is probably reaching the exterior entrance.
I begin to go over the details of the case thus far with Velma. I don't know how much of those details Mara actually knows, so
I have watched the past 3 games. That's it. So that is
You're
what I
actually
know.
probably fairly caught
I'm
up.
pretty
then.
certain we've done a recap at least once in the past 3 episodes. So
Yeah.
But yeah, sequential number of murders, apparently affiliated with an individual deemed Nisiku, who is supposedly an antediluvian of some sort.
So you tell me all.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Who was murdered? Who were they?
mortals. Random.
Do we know their
No-
names?
Some of them.
Yes, Naomi
I'll-
will rattle off all
yeah,
of the names.
We'll give the names that we know.
in sequential order and in sections.
None of
Okay.
them. None of them connected to one another or have any great significance in and of themselves, aside from the ritualistic style of their deaths.
Which was what? I don't know that part actually.
They were murdered. We found
A new number
murders
added.
in sequential order. The ones we've confirmed: 2 people were murdered on the 2nd floor of a building in the campus area. 3 people were murdered on the third floor of another building. 4 people were murdered on the 4th floor of another building. We interrupted the attempted murder of 5 people on the 5th floor of a building. And
All 5 were indeed executed, though.
they were
Yeah, they managed to kill all 5 of
Yeah,
them
they
before you
managed to
got
kill
there.
them.
I thought
They were
You
also all
interrupted
blood
the
through the same
exsanguination
method.
process.
Yes.
And they made off with some of the blood, but probably not all of what they would have taken.
And in addition to killing, they also were exsanguinating their targets via conspicuous vampire-style bite marks that were draining all their blood into containers. And we determined that the actual people doing this were the former members of the Scourge that have given their lives for duty, but under the orders or perhaps control of one known as Nisaku, the name of which is associated with a Malkavian antediluvian.
Something, and Naomi will enunciate most of that with her sketches, and also she'll talk about the reason that prior to connecting the name Nisaku to Malkavians, we suspected that the influence could be potentially Malkavian. The numerical pattern that didn't necessarily have any particular ritual, the drawing out of madness and utilizing insane people who you made insane, the omnipresent ability to view the goings on, that sort of thing.
How many people know about the murders or the connection of the murders to everything and this Nisaku, this antediluvian?
Ourselves.
Okay.
My primogen, who connected the name of the antediluvian, or connected the name Nisaku to the antediluvian. The sheriff.
Wasn't your primogen who made that initial conclusion?
My primogen.
I mean, he's aware, but yes.
My primogen and the caretaker of the Tremere Chantry. The sheriff, former sheriff, now prince, and Jimmy, who is now a counselor, apparently.
My sire, Matilda, is also familiar with the name Nisaku coming up for us.
And I have a contact among your kind named Crow, with whom I've shared some but not all information.
Yes, I know.
I also have a contact named Featherstone among your clan, who I've also shared some but not all information.
I know Featherstone too. That's good. That's good, because information like this is not something we should be giving out.
No.
In this setting, Nosferatu actually do all know each other.
Yes, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least in a given city.
Yes, a network of spies knows their own network of spies.
Exactly.
We can.
At this point,
I see two
Alexander's
ways.
probably heading to the door.
Yep. So yeah, the door bangs open
Sorry.
or glides open, however Alexander enters a room. I have a feeling that he enters a room like...
Fabio?
No. I was thinking Kramer.
I am he.
Yeah, I don't think the Kramer approach is just door flies open, step inside.
Sorry, Mara was saying something.
Yeah.
I see two approaches. We can learn more about who these people were, because presumably they were either killed there or brought there for these rituals. That could be. That
Killed
could lead us
there,
to
most likely. It's their homes, and
Yeah.
I saw one of the murders take place.
With the exception,
Were they killed in their homes, or were they brought there to be killed?
with the exception of the most
I mean,
recent one, all of the murders occurred in homes that the people were currently in. The attackers.
And
Little
everyone-
girls
the-
didn't seem to have been brought.
The attackers.
She seemed to be there.
The attackers intruded.
So opportunity. You said you interrupted the last one?
Yes.
Did anyone survive?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Did you stay? Okay.
The entire building.
There
went
was
up-
no opportunity.
The entire building went up in flames and exploded.
Like the theater.
Similar. Yes.
The same people?
The former scourges who were working at the behest of Nisuku attempted to trap us in the building and kill us.
It's possible, though. But what
And then
happened?
how did it catch on fire and explode then?
They caught it on fire and exploded it.
They did. How?
Yes.
You know, usually do. Fire.
With fire.
I know I made a roll for this, but I cannot remember what I learned about how they probably burned
You
down the
learned
building.
that the building had been prepared for that sort of eventuality, based on your knowledge of engineering and how the building caught and burned. It would have had to have been a preset mechanism in place. It was planned arson,
Mm-hmm.
and
Lysander?
they just tried to lock you guys inside while they did their planned arson.
Yeah, Naomi will confer that.
Okay.
I was going to. Lysander hears that because he wasn't there when that happened. He's just going to say, So I guess they took interest in my methods of moving out. And then he chuckles, and then he continues to play with
I
Casper.
glance over at that.
On a somewhat different subject, Jimmy Oster is working on solving your problem, Mr. Adomar.
You mean Lysander's problem?
It's
I
your
say,
vehicle.
staring at Lysander.
What problem is that?
Yes, my vehicle, not my decision.
Well, Mr. Oster is working on the situation.
I appreciate that. Perhaps I will not have to reduce Lysander to ash after all.
Lysander just looks at Gabriel and says, "See,
Statue
everything's
of
fine."
Lenin.
I feel as if I should recommend next time your vehicle is being investigated by the police, we speak to our police contact.
I hadn't intended for the vehicle to leave police custody. I had only intended for the conspicuous amount of weaponry in my car to not remain in the car.
Those could also have been handled by Mr. Oster.
Sorry, I'm just a little bit impatient.
This is fascinating.
All right.
We need
With
to...
the short amount of time before dawn breaks, you guys are able to confer and discuss a little bit more before it becomes apparent that everybody's actually going to probably need to spend the night here.
Yep.
Yay, sleepover.
It'll be cramped, but there's enough room.
I can put the crates together and make beds.
Yes, you can.
I don't
Either
know.
way.
Is that
like-
not? I don't know if that's not your path of thaumaturgy. Like, if that's I don't know if that's something that not all thaumaturgy users can do. But can you do that thing that seals a building from sunlight?
Yes, I can.
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can.
It's a
So
ritual.
you
It's
have blackout
it's
curtains.
a thaumaturgical ritual, not a.
Not
yeah.
a thaumaturgy discipline thing.
No,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you have like one apartment in a large building, or is it like are we up on several floors up, or
They're on
wondering
the
if
third
that's-
floor.
Okay.
But yes, it is a two-bedroom apartment in a building of apartments.
okay?
Gabriel, if you could seal the room from sunlight, we could sleep whatever is comfortable.
Aren't there blackout curtains?
Yes, there are.
There should
Oh.
be.
Are there? If those are good enough, then we can just do that. Yeah.
Presuming Lysander's cat does not have a habit of drawing curtains open, I think we'll be fine.
No, he's a good boy. He doesn't do things like that.
Wake up in the morning.
Casper kind of gives you a look as he's clawing at his own little claw post.
Wake up
This is
tomorrow night. Half
this
of
is
us
your
have been
cat?
burned to death.
This is why
you have a
Casper
cat,
isn't
Lysander?
allowed in Naomi's room.
What was that, Mara?
You have a cat, Lysander?
Yes, his name is Casper. Black cat.
Oh, how adorable! But can I try and say hello to his cat?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay, I'm just saying hello. I'm
Yep.
introducing myself. What's that gonna be?
The weirdly.
You don't have to.
desensitized
You don't have to make a
vampire
roll
cat.
to just
Okay.
talk. Yeah,
Okay.
you just lock eyes with the cat.
Uh huh.
It looks back at you, blinks.
Uh huh. and I just give a sort of meow sound and
Casper
reading.
responds. Basically, how are you?
This isn't my home. Are they always like this?
You get kind of an affirmative
Hmm.
to both statements, both the statement and the question. Yes, it's not your home, and this is kind of par for the course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Casper doesn't seem to be concerned by it, surprisingly enough. Like, usually,
Huh.
unless you've got the specific discipline,
Yeah.
it's very difficult for animals to grow comfortable around vampires.
Yeah.
Casper seems to be taking most of this in stride, even though there are definitely individuals in this room who do not have that same discipline that you do.
Yeah. How did you end up here?
He kind of gives you a look of very faint conclusion and a little bit of derision. And sort of, this is my home.
Fair enough. I won't step in your space.
There's
I'll
a
see
brief
if I can-
kind of like glint in his eyes that communicates specifically one corner of the room that is definitely his space.
All right.
I mean, it's all his space, but that is
Mhm.
that
All right.
particularly. Right.
All right. And I sort of end the conversation there. Just like a nod. I do a nod of like acknowledgement.
He
And
seems
that's
to
where I-
agree.
Okay. We have reached an accord.
I believe you have. Right. Gabriel, you do your Sacred Haven?
No, they're blackout curtains.
Okay. So you're going with the curtains.
Yep.
So yeah, as the sun begins to dawn, that sort of lethargy begins to encompass your physiologies, and everybody lays down for the daytime torpor that you all fall into.
Is there a closet?
Yes, there is.
I would probably want to be in the closet.
Naomi, is there room in the closet for a small Nosferatu?
Probably.
Okay.
There's
yeah,
a
I
few
would-
things there, but there's enough of a space on one side that you can sort of bend
Wedge,
yourself.
yeah, I
into.
want to wedge myself in somewhere. I want something small and contained and not in the main, like a main room that feels much too big and open.
Okay.
So, the windows in this apartment, what cardinal direction do they face?
South and east.
Okay, so southeast, which means the sun rises to them.
Yes.
In that particular case, I would like to, if there's actually room there, make where I'm laying basically under the lip of the window so that the sunlight has the least direct path to where I'm laying while it's rising, and then once it starts to go down, it's one of the first places to be excluded.
Okay. Yep. You can find a pretty decent sheltered exposure location, probably.
Given the stuff that Naomi has around, if you move something around, you can absolutely get like full cover.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm gonna find
there's plenty of.
a corner on the window wall. Like,
Okay.
not underneath the window, but like look to the window to the right, find the corner.
Right. Yep. All right. So you guys distribute yourselves.
Yes.
I have
And-
a room.
Yes. And two of you have actual rooms because this is your actual apartment. And
Me too.
you more or less turn in for the day. Naomi, as you give yourself to rest, you lose a point of willpower, and I
Okay.
need you to make a perception and awareness roll. Difficulty 7. Not reducible by aspects in this
Is
case.
that is
Is
that
this a visual thing?
No, it's not visual.
Okay.
is that lose a dot of willpower or just a spendable point?
No, spend a willpower point.
Okay.
2 successes, which are for awareness. It's just if it's tactical.
Okay, it's not. You lay down in your familiar spot or curl up however you generally deport yourself as you go in for the daytime rest. And your head kind of hits whatever serves as a pillow for you. And that moment of impact, you suddenly fall through the floor. And through the floor. And find yourself standing in a patch of sunlight in the garage below. And as you glance around and you look at yourself, there's a transparency to your body suddenly. And you glance up and there's a slight silvery thread extending above your head and disappearing into this roof above you. The sun, you're not casting a shadow in this sun. It's very faint sunlight anyway, filtered through a number of clouds. And your initial sort of shock at it was very quickly diminished as the fact that this sun does not appear to hurt you. And you feel a tug as you glance off towards the south. And that is where we're going to leave it for tonight.
All right, we have been Final Show Films. We produce a wide variety of content every day of the week. You can check us out on our website at finalshowfilms.com. You also check us out on our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms when I don't have a squirming, tired, screaming baby on my stomach. We appreciate all our patron supporters, especially our $25 tier supporters, Chris Comfort and Antitonic. We also appreciate the folks over at 411mania.com. Someone else do the 411mania bit, please.
411 Mania. They have anything that geeks and nerds could be interested in. If you like our stuff, you'll probably like the stuff they do. Learn about the awesome Wonder Woman movie and all of the other things that come out in cinema, and also probably wrestling. I think wrestling is in season.
Yes.
And also MMA.
Wrestling never stops being in season.
The wrestling
Good
won't
to
And
know.
all the Final Show Film stuff that we've ever done or ever will do, probably.
Yes, the wrestling will continue until morale approves. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe below. We
Thanks for the
appreciate all
bits.
of you. Thank you for the bits,
Thank you,
Cat.
Cat, for all
Waterflame
the
at the top
bits.
at the top of the show. We will see you all next time. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.